I don't carry a few titles. I've been, recently got the title of elder, Lord God, right? Also author, businessman. Today, for the last year, I've been operating as a coach, right? I'm building a coaching company, and I talk to a lot of people. I've had this plan that I always want to go and affect all around the world, and I have this map or the globe, and I look at it, and it's like, man, if I could touch all these different countries. And for the last year, I've been talking to people in Kuwait, to United Emirates, to Israel, to Australia, to France, Trinidad, everywhere. And the spots are filling up. And I'm just looking at God move and causing us to go and take this kingdom message into the world. Yeah. And so, but what I found that when I communicate with a lot of people, no matter what their race is, as we call it, because there's no race, it's a human race, but no matter what their culture or ethnicity is, that we all exactly the same. Yeah. Exactly the same. Same desires, same wants, same needs. And people that look nothing like us, you'd be surprised how much we relate in the communication to help them trigger over past some of the hurts that we have. But I have seen some success by taking the spiritual kingdom and the message of God and figure out how to finagle it and communicate it to people, still giving them the stuff to move and get out of the situation they're stuck. And it's been a blessing. And so I'm saying to everybody in here that whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you admire, there is time. This is an opportunity. Life is an opportunity. And once you see it as an opportunity and not let things just happen to you, but you realize the power, and we're going to figure out today how to change and pivot the direction of your life by the power of a decision. And what I'm going to help us to do is we don't think in days, we think in decades. So a lot of times we try to rush God when we just got to get focused. World get us moving, but we just got to get focused. And everybody in here can get to where they want to go. You just have to decide where you're going. And so as I've been peeking in, listening to the message and following, and Bishop been talking about getting our minds together and getting us in a position that we can actually activate these principles, I'm going to give you a tool that's going to help us to actually execute. Is that okay? All right, give God a hand clap of praise. One more time. Now, again, I'm kicking it with you, so I ain't going to preach at you. I had to ask for the lapel because when I hold a microphone, it just does something to you. You feel like you got to preach. I'm not about to preach. I'm about to kick it. I'm a teacher, right? We're just about to kick it. All right? So, look, there are systematic devices that if we're not careful, that will lock us out of the power that God has placed inside of us. And I want to show you how to break some of those systematic devices that are out there that we just fall into this habitual habit of running away from the power and the potential that's inside of you, right? And so there's so much inside of us, and I promise I'm going to show you this. So I guess if I had the title this kick it session is going to be, Do You Know Your Name? Okay. My biggest thing has always been about self-identity. And without having a self-identity or knowing where you're going, it's impossible to get there. So if God asks a lot of us what we want to do or who we want to be, we probably couldn't give him an answer. And so I'm going to help you to direct how to get there in this process. All right, so definition. Let's look at the definition of name because we're talking about do you know your name. The definition of a name is a word or a set of words by which a person is known as or for. Somebody say, do I know my name? Do I know my name? All right, so here. So I have the privilege, I have two beautiful boys, but the second one in particular, all of us got great names. We got that from our dad, but we all got a middle name that's come out the Bible. Our first name comes out the Bible. But I got the privilege of naming me and my wife together, my youngest son, Christian. And he has three parts to his name. It's Christian, Michael, Jones. And each name represents something. It's a visual imagery of something. First name, Christian, should be self-explanatory, right? It is who is we're trying to train him to be. And it is our assignment, as the Bible says, to train up a child because they're unconscious reality. We have to give them their reality in the way that should go. And so I wanted them to know his name. That's kind of what they did in the Bible. God gave names to dictate an imagery of who you were. So you walk that direction. Michael, obviously, best man I know. I wanted to attach my father to my son. He couldn't be a junior, but I could sneak it in that way. So the best man I know is Michael, and so I wanted him to have that name so he can have a picture. And then Jones kind of came with it, but that's legacy, right? We all about family, and so if you ought to go out, you ought to treat your family like we treat our family, right? And so we have this power to give ourselves a name, right? It's recently, me and my wife, we do this. We take this and put it in action. We go on walks, and we'll take money with us, like dollars and coins and quarters. And we play this little game where we'll walk up and I'll drop $1 and it leads. And I'll drop a quarter over here. And we kind of guide him to the direction of where the money is. And he'll go like, and he'll pick up the money. I'm like, oh boy, you got some money? Dad, I got some money. And he'll be like, you a money magnet. And about 4 or 5 times on that walk, money just comes to him. And so even to this morning, Dad, oh, look, I found some money. You a money magnet. And he starts saying it, I'm a money magnet. And so there's a picture in his head that he's going to speak this thing in his life. He don't really know what's going on, but I know what's going on. I'm a money magnet, right? All right, so how does this work? So the way that it works, so I want to take it, it's going to be 3 parts to the way I do this lesson. I'm going to go through the Bible, teach from the Bible, pick out a couple stories and draw from it, almost let it paint the canvas. Then I'm going to try to go teaching on you and show you the mechanics of how it works. And then we can see if we can get into some activation, because it ain't just you watching me. We're going to get involved because we got to do this together. We got work to do. Bishop told us to go into the world, so we got to fix some stuff. All right? All right, so here we go. In Exodus 3:7, I'm going to kind of skip through this, and you guys bear with me. Here, it's Exodus 3. Actually, I'm going to go straight to the 9th verse. So here it says, this is talking about when Moses was going to get the people. He was petitioned to get the people out of Egypt, and they was oppressed, right? 9th verse, B clause says, I have seen, this is God talking, the way that the Egyptians are oppressing them. So he said to Moses, who didn't have the capacity to go and talk, he was a stutterer. He said, so now go. I am sending you to this oppressor, Pharaoh, to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I? Anybody ever said that? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring these Israelites out of Egypt? And God says, I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. So Moses said to God, no, wait a minute. Suppose I go to these Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. So let me preface this. Like, you got to understand that Moses was exiled. So he was not a part of this Israel, like, community, right? This people. And obviously at the same time, he wasn't a part of Pharaoh's community. So Pharaoh, think of like a president, right, of a country or a nation. So here it is, a guy who stuttered, who am I, who don't really have the capacity or the ability. He's telling this man to go and save or I'm just kidding. So he telling him he gonna send him, right, to this nation or these people who don't really even know him. They obviously don't have the same God, because you're gonna see it in the story. And then also to this guy who run this nation. Who am I? Somebody say, who am I? Right. So he says, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, well, what's his name? Then what should I tell them? Because obviously they may not even have the same God. So who is your God, right? 14th verse. Now watch. God said to Moses, now before he give him an answer, he's talking to Moses first. Before he answers his question, what am I going to say to the Israelites? He makes a statement. He says, I am who I am. Now, I done read this thing 100 times, and I done put so many cadence on this. Like, how is he actually saying this? I am who I am. I am who I am. I am. Sam, I am. I don't know. I was trying to figure out what he meant by that. And so we're going to come back to that. So the next verse. So he made a statement to him. He gave him a self-defining answer. He said, Moses, I am who I am. This is what you ought to say to the Israelites. Say, I am has sent me to you. God said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord of your fathers, the God of Jacob and all those other guys. I took it out for the point of this. He said, tell them that the Lord sent me to you. Then the bottom, he says, going back to this I am, the self-definition of God. He says, this is my name. How long? The name you shall call me from generation to generation. What's the name? So what's God's name? Somebody say, I am. So I am, 6, equals God. It's the self-definition of God. So a lot of us, we give God a lot of names. Yahweh, Jehovah Jireh, right? The great, but he's the great I am. Anybody know their name? Before you say your name, before you get the title that put behind it, what's your name? I am. Now we could put a title behind it, but my name is I am. And when I call God, I'm going to call I am. So I have to be careful what I say behind I am. So when I looked at it, it says, I am who I am. Maybe it said, I am whoever says I am. If you can say I am, that means you are consciously aware. Let's end there. No matter what you learn after that, you are consciousness. You are spirit. You are the affinity of God. You are an expression of God. Because you are you are aware, you are conscious, you are I am. And the fact that you exist sets you apart. If you could say I am, you are here. And God says, this will be the name that you call me for generations and generations. All right, so let's put that seed there. Let's keep going because this is going to change your life. Let's go to Matthew 16. So now let's get Jesus, who he sent here for us, right? This Christmas. All right, so it says 13 verbs. Now, what I want to show here is basically Jesus is going to show us that how God is doing this work. Jesus asks his disciples, he says, who do people say that the Son of Man is? Now, you got the Son of Man and the Son of God. He's both, right? Unto us a child is born. That's Jesus, the physical body. And then, but unto us a son is given. It's the spirit. It's two different things. Right? So who do you say the Son of Man is? I'm thinking he's talking about Jesus, the body. This body that I'm in, the Son of Man. Who is that? They replied, some say that you John the Baptist. Others say that you Elijah. Others say that you Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you, he asks. Who do you say that I am? Now Peter, he said, you, Jesus. Now we ain't talking about God at this moment in that sense, if I can give you imagery. He said, you, Jesus, you are the anointed one. You are the son, not just of Mary, Joseph. You are the Son of God. So that right there, you got to imagine these times that back in the day when this happened, there was not the understanding of there could be God and man. And this was the biggest division within the church at that time. And this is why the Jews wanted to kill him, because he was calling himself God. And you have to imagine how weird and insane that might have been. But what God was doing, we know the scriptures, Jesus is the word or the spirit or the wrapped in flesh to live amongst us. And he brought the kingdom. He brought the keys. He brought the secrets. He brought the thoughts. Let this mind be in you that's also in Christ Jesus. So the knowledge and the awareness of the good of God, the Almighty, was placed in the body and then sent here. And so maybe the physical manifestation of these thoughts or the physical manifestation of the awareness or I am with God, maybe that's what's trying to be communicated here. So maybe Peter figured it out. Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon. For it was not flesh and blood that revealed this to you, but my Father which is in heaven. I tell you, now watch this. This man just changed his name in the mid-sentence. He called him Simon, and then the second he goes, I tell you that now you are Peter. And on this rock I will build my church. So he literally gave him another name of this revelation. What said 19, and I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth, he's showing him his power, will be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Who's supposed to do this? So we see that God can live in man. So it's possible that you are not just the title of your name. You are potentially God in man. I'm trying to show y'all power here because some of us don't know who we are. And if you don't know who you are, it's impossible to you become who you're supposed to become. Because you think that the power lies outside of you. But we're discovering that God is saying, I gave you a gift. And I heard that it's the God in me that is the hope of glory. The God, somebody say the God in me. Y'all might get this. Y'all might have to watch it. It's going to be on YouTube, so y'all might can go slow down and look at it again because I'm teaching some deep stuff here. John 14, he says, now watch this part. So, and I go and prepare a place before you. This is before Jesus was about to get out of here, right? So I'm going to show you how Jesus used this same concept. He says, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place that I'm going. Thomas like, Lord, we don't know where you're going. So how could we know the way? Jesus answered, I am the way. I am the truth. And I am the life. Now, obviously, we can break this down and say Jesus is the way through salvation. He is the truth because he's the word of God, and he's the life because he's the spirit of God. He gives us life. Once we reconnect with God, we get the spirit of God. But we also can look at this and get revelation that says, I am is defined as your way, wherever you're going. I am is also defined as your truth. I talk to a lot of people, and they give me these stories, and they're communicating the plights and the things that may be going right or going wrong that causing them not to get unstuck. Because my assignment as our coach is to help gifted underachievers get unstuck and get you operating in the things that you want to be. Because all of us got something that we want to become, whether it's in your faith relationship with God, whether it's in your family, trying to be a husband, trying to be a wife, whether it's in your finance, how to steward it, whether it's in your focus, what business, what you're going to build, whether it be in your ability to enjoy what it is that you have. Each of us, no matter who we are, have something that we may be stuck in that we need to get some work in. So you're either building yourself or you're building something. And we usually call that a business, right? And so all of us are in a place where we could need some power to get us across this particular hump. And so when I communicate with people, one common theme is I can see from discernment and being blessed, to have the gift to see the beauty that's in people and their potential based upon what they tell me, but they're stuck in their mind and they tell me all of these particular thoughts that are not necessarily things that's hindering their progression or success. So what does that mean? So, but whatever they say, I have empathy with because it's their truth. Now, it may not be fact, but it's your truth. So whatever you say after I am, it's your truth. So we look for somebody outside of us when the foundation or the root of the thing that may be hinder our progress is what we are commanding the God in us at the moment we speak out. And whatever you say after I am is your life. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through I am. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do not know him as you have seen him. Philip said, he's still confused. Lord, show us the Father. And that will be enough for us, man. Just show us. I don't know what you're talking about. Just Show us the Father. Let me see. Okay, here we go. John 14. Jesus answered, do you know me, Philip? Even after I have been with you such a long time. Anyone who has seen me, has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Don't you believe that I am in the Father and that the Father is in I am? The words that I say to you, I do not speak of my own authority. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Or at least believe on the evidence of the work themselves. Anybody following this? John 14, next verse, 12. Verily, truly, my dad told me when you hear this, you better open your ears. Open your ears. Whoever believes in me will do the works I've been doing. And they will do even greater things than these. Because I am going to the Father. Jesus, the physical body. He's going back to the Father. His physical body ain't going to be here. And I will do whatever you ask in my, what's your name? So that the Father may be glorified in the, is anybody here a son of God? Watch this. You may ask me for anything. How? In my name. Woo. And I will do it. Because I live, you also will live. And on the day you realize that I am in the Father and you are in I am and I am in you. So could it be that we're looking for a God in the sky to come fix some stuff and we waiting on him to do something for us when Christ even said himself, oh, it's finished. In the beginning, God says he blessed them, which simply means empowered to prosper. The power is God in you. The power is I am. And whatever you say after I am is what you want in your life. Man, I'm teaching, Doc. I am teaching. 12. I am equals God. Now, let's do this mechanically, and let's walk through this. I'm going to show you the teacher because there's got to be the science behind it. And that's not a negative term. You know, theology is the study of who God is. Science is the study of what God made. They really don't understand that yet. And so let's look at how God made us, right? So let's go to 13th slide here. You probably can't see it, but it's just I. Let's start with the I. Let's figure out how this works. I is 14, is spirit. That's consciousness. So we call it conscious, we call it the spirit. That is a spirit, that is a life source that is within inside of you. Right? So think of that. It is the unformed spiritual knowledge or awareness of self. If you can say I, you exist. You are spirit. You have opportunity. You got a shot at life in the physical earth. Right? And you are thought. This is why a person can live beyond their physical death, because their thoughts carry on. If I leave some good thoughts in the earth, when I physically die, I still live because my thoughts are with you. This is what Christ did. So we are nothing but thought, right? And this is the I that's in us. Watch. So next, I is conscious. Say conscious mind. Your mind that is always thinking. That's your power. That's where your imagination is, right? The next one is you put that spirit, God place it inside of a brain. 15, please. He's placed it inside of that physical brain. Now, this is where the soul is housed, the heart, the programming that we have, all the memories, all the data we collect since we've been trained as a child. We take all these imaginative thoughts or the thoughts that we decide to pick. We think on them long enough and often enough, they begin to program the brain that's inside of us. And we begin to see through the filter of the program. So if you get bad programming, things that is possible to I am becomes impossible to your program. Don't mean that you can't do them. It's just that we got the wrong thoughts in the way. So you got conscious and then you got subconscious. This is the thought process that's thinking when you're not consciously in it. You're not imagining. You're not creating. And so when you're not thinking, you are subconsciously thinking about all the mess that we might have gathered. Don't mean you can't do it. You're just looking through the wrong lens. So this is why God says to be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your. That's what he's talking about. All that stuff we got baggaged up in there, you got to clean that out. And so it's going to be through a process of this I am. Next one, you have the unconscious mind. This is literally, somebody touch their arm. This is literally your body. Your body thinks without you. Your heart is moving without your consciousness. Your respiratory system, endocrine system, everything within your body, you are unconscious of its thought or its thinking or its ability to maneuver without you. Now watch this. Also, when you practice a skill and you master something, you begin to unconsciously know how to do it. My dad was teaching my boys how to bake a cake, and David was asking, how do you know when to do this and how do you know when to do that? He's like, oh, it's just about feeling. What he was saying is it's just I evolved to do this. I don't even have to think about it. It's unconscious to me because I've mastered this thing. I baked it inside of me. Because I've been doing it for so long, I don't even have to think about it. My body and my hands have evolved to produce it. If I think about it long enough and often enough, I become that thing unconsciously. And every one of us in here, we think in decades, not days. Because if you think in decades, if you focus on something long enough and often enough, you will unconsciously become that thing. Right? So I am. So this is how this works. This is how the I am works. So we all got opportunity to take this name of God and direct it wherever we want it to go. And nobody else gonna do that for you. Now, we can help trigger you. We can help motivate you. We can help to synergize with you and collaborate with you. But it's my own assignment to take my I am, to take my God and get him the opportunity to work himself in this physical body. But it's my assignment to do it. There's this beautiful saying. Obviously, because I meet a lot of people in the Hindu culture where they come to each other and they say namaste. And, you know, with me studying, I've always been the one that studied everything, especially being a Christian author. Like, you have to ask a lot of questions, right? But, again, when I talk to people, I see God in so many people because obviously God exists within them and have this relationship with them too. But anyway, one of the things that they do is the greeting that they do. And when they go to a person, they put their hands like this. And it's really not necessarily to the physical person. The greeting goes, they go, namaste. And it means I bow to the God that's in you. And so I thought that was really beautiful because, again, it allows me, and this is something I learned from my dad too, to work with people in spite of the things that they're going through or the foolishness that they may be doing. There's a patience that comes with that communication because there is God somewhere buried in there. And if you cannot take their deeds for who they are, we can touch the God that's inside of them. And what educate means, it means to draw out the good, draw out the God that's inside of him. And that's our assignment one to another. He's in there. He's in me. There is no undesirable circumstance that you can't fix. None. Whatever you are going through, whatever you are trying to produce, say, I can do it. Anybody believe that? That's what faith is. Faith is a conviction to the unseen, and you're loyal to it until you birth it into the natural. Yes, sir. Anybody getting something out of this? All right, all right, all right, all right. So I'm gonna give you how much time I got. All right. So look, I'm still doing good. I got 12 minutes. I just want to kick it with you. I ain't preaching. I ain't preaching. All right. Look. I didn't even look at what slide did we look. Go to slide. Did y'all show slide 17? Did he show that? 17. Did y'all see this? Go to 17. Okay, I'm sorry. So I plus am equals whatever is going on in your life right now, the physical body. I, which is conscious awareness, which is God. If you could say I, you are of the essence of God. You are God. I'm not talking about the great I am. I'm talking about you, I am. It's a difference. I ain't talking about the King of Kings, we ain't ego, but God, he is the King of the small kings. I ain't talking about the Lord, I'm talking about the Lord of lords. So we can claim this confidence. You can confide. That's what confidence is. Like I have a confidence issue. Confidence is broken down as confide. If you could confide in yourself, not even looking at all the stuff you mess up on, but if you can confide in the God that's inside of you. So I plus am. What is that? Am is, you get it from the radio signal, amplified modulation, which basically means a frequency. So whatever's in that brain, whatever's baking, that's what your am is. That's the energy that you're putting on. So if you pissed off, that's the energy that you put out. That's the decision that you decide to be. They call it a vibe. Call it a vibration. Some call it a personality. Some of us even call it a sin nature. Whatever you grab, whatever good or evil thought you grab, once you bake it into the am, that's who you are. So I am, and then unconsciously you are that in character, in that particular slide, if y'all can see that with me. All right, so we have to be careful. What? Go to 18 for me. Now watch this. I'm going back to the Bible. This just ain't me. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord God in vain. Ooh, y'all done missed what that was. Y'all thought that meant cussing. What is the name of God? Don't take it in vain. That means don't take it and produce no result. Because God will not hold you guiltless if you dishonor his name. If you don't know how to take the weapon of I am and use it properly, God will not spare you because he gave you the power. What's the scripture? Life and death is in the power of your tongue. Don't take the name. That ain't cussing. That is the commandment, the confession that you speak over your own life. Ooh. All right. So let's go. Let's jump to. So we asked this question. So I'm going to show you how we could take this, and the predicament that we may be in is a result of what we're doing currently if we don't have this wisdom, because we're going to take this I am principle and begin to use it, right? That's the point. Is not to just listen to me. You're going to take this, walk away with it, and you're going to watch your words. But let's look at why we may be where we are right now. And so I'm going to give you a couple of visuals, because we all have been guilty of this, because this is stuff I want to become too, that I have to take my words and then watch them, right? So anybody else ask the question, who am I? You remember when he asked that question? Who am I? Right? Let me tell you who you are. Go to 20. So we're going to do is somebody say self-audit. So we're going to do this as a practice now, but you go home and write this down, because you're going to look at them and you're going to burn it, whatever you put right here. Anybody ever said, hit the next slide for me, I am tired. Anybody ever said that? Anybody ever commanded God to be in action and say that they are tired? Go to the next slide. Anybody ever said, I am broke? Y'all ain't never said that before, have y'all? Keep going. Anybody ever said, I am sick? Anybody ever spoke this death in their own life? When the scriptures say, speak not things as though, what did it say? Y'all know the word. The instructions are right there. We just got to do it. Because God in you is the hope of the glory that he going to get out of you. So you have to command what you want in your life. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, let's do a couple more. Anybody ever said, I'm in a bad place in life? Anybody ever said that foolishness? I am not good at anything. I am. Next slide. So look, again, we're going to do this again. I equals, next slide, please. I equals awareness, conscious awareness. That's God. Because God is omniscient, which means all what? Knowing. So the knowledge of God, you can take a particular knowledge or a piece of the ultimate understanding of God and bring it into your life, right? So since God is omniscient, we take what we want to know. When God is omnipresent, he's also present in you. He's all presence, but he's actually in the presence within you. So again, we're God, but we're a portion of God. But we are God. Come on now. Y'all with me? I exist as, and then whatever you say after that is your current truth, your current belief, your current mindset, your current vision, and the current work that you're doing. So watch this. Somebody said faith is now. So at the very moment you change your conversation is the very moment you pivot your life. Because we got to understand that you are the I. You are not the program, and you are not the body. Because if I cut this arm off, I'm still going to be here. If I cut this arm off, if I cut these legs off, I'm still going to be here. So you are not the body. You are the power of God, the breath of God in that body. Right? So whenever you create, use your imagination. Right? This is what God did when he created us. Let us create man in our imagination, in our image. That's the power God has. Once you have the ability to see something that is not contingent upon time, space, and matter, I have the ability to create that thing, and it's already real. If I can see it, it exists. It is a part of the knowledge that I chose to grab and bring into my life. Now I just got to focus on it long enough. This is why you have to have a vision, a preferred future, a destination. You got to have where you're going in your relationship. You need to know where you're going within your family, within your business, within your health. You have to see where you're going. You have to create it first in your mind's eye. They call it insight, not eyesight. Close them. Look inside of you. What can you imagine? What image, as you have the power of God, do you want to birth into the natural? Once you see it, it already exists. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things I can see. You can't see it, but don't mean it don't exist. Ooh-wee. Hey, look, this is going to get us out of here. Listen. If you can see it, it already exists. The insight is the substance. That's the substance. You got this ability. It's the substance. Do y'all hear me? Anybody want something? Come on, just look in your mind's eye. Just see if you can find something. See what you want. That's all you got to do is see what you want. All you have to do is see what you want. And it already exists. All right, so we're going to do some work. Let's activate some of this. We got 2 minutes. I'm moving, Bishop A. I done learned something. Y'all ain't going to be tired of me. Like, man, I'm trying to get to my gifts. But we have the biggest gift of all. The predicament of your Christmas right now is determined about what you've been saying. So there's 3 areas that I want you to go practice, right? Well, the first thing I'm going to give you a couple of things. It's called a self-audit. I call it the R3 change-up, right? So whenever, because right now we've baked a habit of saying negative stuff and cursing our own life, right? We always say stuff that we don't like. So when you hear what you're saying after I am, I want that to trigger you. So every time you say I am, I'm praying from this moment and me being redundant right here that you realize that you're about to speak into your own life. You're about to put God in action. When you say it, you are saying, God, this is what I want. So it's called the R3 changer because you're going to mess up. I'm going to mess up still too, but I'm conscious of it, right? So when you say, man, I'm sick of this. Man, I'm sick of her. Man, I'm tired. Man, I don't feel like this. Man, I ain't about to take this mess. Man, I can't do this. Man, I'm frustrated. When you start to do that, it's going to come out. You stop. You recognize it. That's the first thing. That's number 1 R. Then you rethink about what you want to say. So you pick a new thought. And then you restate that mess out of your mouth. That's all you got to do. It's okay if we slip up. Come on, we're in this together, right? When you say something you ain't supposed to say or that you don't want in your immediate or your future reality, whatever it is, you have to stop, recognize it, rethink, and restate it out of your own mouth. And you're going to practice this until you know that you have full control of your I am. The only thing that gives fulfillment in life, I done figured it out. It ain't money, because a lot of us in here done had money and we still got some issues. Right? It ain't being married, because that's work. I love you, baby, gay girl. Hey, girl. Right? It causes the character of God to work on you. But look, it's what we're looking for. The theme that I keep seeing is we all just want self-control. You want the ability to control your own behavior. Because we all can see with our mind's eye what we should be doing, but not all the time we can get our body to line up. So when you're most happy is when you got control over a situation. Control over what goes on. And that's what money is. Money is an alternative. It's a substitute to this. Because when you get money, you're going to be happy because you can pick where you want to go. You can pick the person you want to be with. You decide if you should go to work or not. It's a form of control. But it doesn't bring the fulfillment of self-control in all these areas in your life. And so the I am is going to be the thing that you're going to use to start this process to get self-control. And this is a principle that we are going to work. It's the power of the I am. Now, it's 3 areas that you want to work on your I am in, right? 3 C's. I am, and you pick a character trait that you want to be. Number 2, I am contentment. That's gratitude. And then I am creator. Whatever your vision is, whatever you want to specialize in, and whatever you want to master. These are what you're going to have to figure out and write down, and you're going to have to practice these in your life and say them long enough and say them often enough until it becomes unconscious and you start to do it with your body and not even think about it. Go back to that slide. So let's practice some. Stand up. Ain't God good? All right, character. Character traits, God gave us some spiritual fruit. This is what God said. He wants us to develop these things in our life. If anybody know Galatians, I think it's Galatians, what is it, 6 and 5? 5, right? Galatians 5? 5:22. There you go. 5:22 to 23, I believe. The fruit of the Spirit. So each one of those, love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, patience, meekness, you get them, right? Kind, all of them. Those are character traits. These are, when you are love, what's God's name? I am love. When you are love, you're a person that sacrificed something so that somebody else may advance, increase, or get better. You have to sacrifice either your money, your patience, your time, so that somebody else can advance, increase, or get better. So, I ain't going to go through all of them, but each of these are character traits. You have to be able to become these characteristics. So these are requests, if you don't know what you want yet, that you need to ask for. God showed us. Somebody say, I am love. Say it again. I am love. I am love. Man, I'm love. I love you. I love all y'all. Crazy as y'all are. Come on, say, I am peace. What is that? Peace is basically, you know that God got control of all this. And even though it's a storm all around and things ain't working, I am peace. When it's bad at the job, the wife is tripping, when the husband tripping, things ain't going, say, I am joy. See, a lot of us think we want happiness. We want to be happy, but that ain't really what we want. Because happiness, root word, is happen. What's happening is outside of you. So I need to do this in order to experience this delight. That ain't what you want. Joy is on the inside. Joy is a choice. Joy, if I don't got what I want yet, I am joy. Come on, I am healthy. Right now, already, before my body figure it out, I am healthy. I am wealthy. Before my pockets figure it out, I am wealthy. Stay there long enough, stay there often enough, and you're going to birth that thing in the natural. Contentment, I can't go through all of these, but when you're content, you're basically saying you know how to be grateful. And if some of us say it's hard to be grateful because you don't understand what I'm going through. You don't understand the pressure that's on me in life. Wrong focus. We're not saying that it don't exist, because everybody in here got something they want better. But how do I be grateful when it seems like everything's falling apart? Let me give you an answer. Gratefulness is where you find something that you currently have, that you like, that you don't want to lose. And focus on that. Say, I am alive. I am powerful. You got to believe that thing. The power is already in you. Now you practice that. Whatever, if you got a car, you say, whatever you got, I am grateful for. Whatever you don't want to lose, because we overlook the things that God has already done and focusing on what we're missing. And that is going to drive that negative imagery into your existence. And you will always have lack, and you could be sitting on 20,000 square feet. Last one, I am creator. So You have to have a destination. You have to identify as something. What is it that you're going to master over the next 10 years? And be patient with yourself, because the Bible says it has a perfect work. Don't rush it. Don't be on nobody else's clock. You just have to get yourself under control, that you can be deliberate and stay intentional and fight the distraction, because when you bake the wrong subconscious filter, we are attracted to distractions. We are running away from what we want. We know what we admire. We know who we want to be, but there is an unconscious desire to go over here when you're running away from who you are. You have to identify that ain't you. That's the program that you're running. And when you're doing something that you know that you shouldn't be doing, you have to step back and say, that ain't me. That's a program that I don't want. And you have to talk to yourself. I am about to get out of here. I am about to do what I need to do. It is your power. The power is in your hand. It ain't nobody else's responsibility. It is all you. Say, I am God.